This episode is supported by Curiosity Stream. This is a meter, but it's not the meter. The meter isn't a physical object locked away in some secret vault somewhere. The meter is a math problem. Take the distance light travels in 1 second and cut it into this many chunks. That's how we define a meter. But why that number? Why not this many chunks? Or this many? It's the fundamental unit of the metric system, a unit built into the very foundations of physics. So surely something in the basic laws of the universe explains why a meter is a meter. But that's not the case. The real story is full of discovery, deception, and a lot of people getting their heads cut off. 1789. The French people had a lot of problems with the monarchy, and Louis was going to hear about it. In their airing of grievances, the people included demands to fix France's system of weights and measures. It was a confusing mess. Every town and trade basically measured things how they wanted. This was not a new problem. The ancient Egyptian cubit was said to be the length of a man's arm, and the English inch was 3 pieces of barley laid end to end. But whose arm and whose barley? In France, a pound of bread sometimes really was lighter than a pound of lead. Its people were using some 250,000 different measures, which made trade difficult and cheating easy. A pint of beer in Paris, 2/3 the size of a pint in Saint-Denis. If ever there were an injustice worthy of revolution, it was that. France's revolutionary spirit wanted united equal measures for a united and equal people. But French savants, being the enlightened dudes they were, set their goal to a universal measure for all nations derived from nature itself. Rulers, who needs them? The basic unit of length would be called the meter. All the units derived from that. The divisions of those units would be decimal and given prefixes from Greek and Latin, so the whole thing was kind of open. All that was left to do was invent the meter. One smart choice was the length of a pendulum swinging once per second. Thomas Jefferson even agreed to make some measurements and join America into this new metric system. Problem solved, right? Wrong. First, they had to agree on the length of a second. Some French savants were going to throw out the day we use and replace it with a decimal day. Since no one could agree on a second, the pendulum meter was dropped. In its place, a meter defined as 1/10 millionth the distance between the North Pole and the equator, along a meridian passing through France. England and the USA refused to accept the measure based on French law. Well, we all know how that turned out. In 1791, 2 men set the meter. Measure latitude in the middle. Do a little multiplication, and you've measured the Earth. Unfortunately, they don't make 1,000-kilometer tape measures. Instead, Méchain and Delon would mark a series of triangles across France. Walking off just one side of a triangle in the north and south, they could use those angles to calculate the length of every link in the chain, proving trigonometry is good for something after all. This was their tool. The repeating circle was 2 telescopes mounted on a ring. Zero in on 2 distant markers and measure the angle between them. But a single measurement was guaranteed to have some error. The repeating circle was rotated and remeasured, each time adding a new angle to the previous sum. Divide by the number of measurements, and the average angle would be more precise than any single measurement. These would be the most precise surveying measurements ever attempted, giving the world an error-free meter. Unfortunately, as soon as they set off, things in France went to double hockey sticks. Revolution was in full swing. The king was in jail, then dead. And France was in ruin, basically everywhere, but especially Spain. In city after city, people assumed the scientists were a funny tool. But each time, they barely kept their heads. But after 7 years of struggle, the triangles were connected. In 1799, pages and pages of calculations. The distance from the North Pole to the equator.
This is really complicated. I didn't get it. It was funny.